we're gonna find something really very important and very special over there.
Rumors are flying about a secret city hidden right under the Sphinx's huge paws. This massive statue with a lion's body and a human's head has stood in the Giza desert for over 4,500 years. Recently, after the amazing discovery of King Tut's tomb, people started talking again. But now officials are stopping any digging because they're worried about harming the Sphinx. Still, there are whispers about mysterious rooms and sealed entrances. What if there's something incredible hidden under this ancient statue? Let's dive in and solve this mystery together. Secrets beneath the Sphinx, an ancient mystery. Interest in Egyptian archaeology was at its peak. Just a few years earlier, Howard Carter had discovered King Tutankhamun's tomb, which had been hidden for over 3,000 years. Soon after, rumors began to spread about an even more amazing find, a buried city under the Giza Plateau. Newspapers around the world reported this discovery, but then, just as quickly, the excitement died down. People returned their attention to the royal tombs, leaving many to wonder why such an incredible find had suddenly been forgotten. But this wasn't the most surprising part. Some said that the entrance to this hidden city was within the Sphinx itself. Was this just a wild story, or was there some truth to it? Officials often dismiss these claims, saying the supposed entrances were blocked or flooded. Yet some photos showed unexplained shafts and chambers within the Sphinx. Despite the mysteries, the Egyptian Antiquities Authority stopped further drilling to avoid damaging the ancient monument. Amid all this intrigue, a curious detail emerged from an unexpected place: YouTube. A user named Bright Insight claimed there was once a shaft on top of the Sphinx's head that led inside the statue and possibly to the underground city. Old aerial photos from the early 1900s seem to show this shaft, but recent pictures suggest it has been sealed with concrete. This led to speculation about a possible cover-up. Such a discovery could change our entire understanding of Egyptian history. But that wasn't the only strange theory. For years, people believed that Egypt's pyramids were built as tombs for pharaohs, yet no mummies have been found inside them. This lack of evidence has led some to suggest different purposes for these ancient structures. Could our understanding of Egyptian history be wrong? The early 1900s, a fascinating photo was taken from a hot air balloon, showing the Sphinx from a rare angle. This view suggested there might be an opening on top of the Sphinx, making people wonder if there are hidden secrets inside. Another curious thing about the Sphinx is the difference between its human head and lion's body. The Sphinx, with a lion's body and a human's head, raises more questions than answers about its original purpose. Egyptologists have different ideas. Some think it was a guardian of the Giza Plateau, while others believe it represents an Egyptian deity like the sky god Horus, or an idealized form of the pharaoh Khafre, who was revered as a divine figure. But this wasn't the most puzzling part. The Sphinx is close to the Great Pyramid of Giza, and these structures, now near modern Cairo, were once isolated in the desert. People traditionally believed the pyramids were tombs for Egypt's elite, but no burial practices are described within them, making us question if the Sphinx was a protector of Pharaoh Khafre's tomb. Recent discussions, some think the pyramids and the Sphinx were part of a larger complex with mysterious purposes, possibly designed to harness cosmic or electromagnetic energy. Yet without solid evidence, the true function of these ancient monuments remains an intriguing mystery. But the story doesn't end here. There is strong evidence suggesting the Sphinx is older than the pyramids. If confirmed, this would change our understanding of Egyptian history. Research and debates continue, bringing us closer to potential discoveries. One of the most debated topics is whether the Sphinx is just a monumental sculpture or a gateway to something deeper. The Sphinx's unique and striking form, carved from the bedrock of the Giza Plateau, might be guarding secrets within its limestone core. As time goes on, the riddle of the Sphinx endures, a testament to the lasting legacy of ancient Egypt's civilization. While some pictures make the Sphinx look like a giant structure, it's actually not as big as you might think compared to its surroundings. Standing at about 20 meters high, or roughly 65 feet tall, the Sphinx's paws are just a bit taller than the average adult male. Interestingly, its proportions don't match those of a modern lion, which suggests there might be more hidden in this 73-meter-long monument than meets the eye. Historians using ancient documents think the Sphinx might have been a sacred site in the past. Over the years, stories have suggested that hidden chambers could be inside it, with some scholars even hinting that ancient texts point to the Sphinx possibly hiding something sinister. Now let's explore the hidden chambers inside Egypt's pyramids. Ancient echoes. Hidden cities of Egypt. Others guess it might hold endless knowledge, but these ideas are still just guesses. However, everyone agrees on one thing. The Sphinx was more than just a decoration. It played a significant role in ancient Egyptian society, a role we still don't fully understand. Questions about the age of the Great Sphinx of Giza add to the mystery. While conventional history says it was built during the 4th dynasty, between 2613 and 2494 BC, this is mostly based on guesses rather than solid evidence. But here's where it gets more interesting. Scholars examining the Sphinx closely have found signs of water erosion at its base, which doesn't fit with the known dry history of the region for thousands of years. This erosion suggests the Sphinx could be much older, possibly dating back 7,000 to 10,000 years. This would mean the Sphinx might be older than the pyramids, hinting at an even older civilization in Egypt. Exploring the Sphinx has brought more questions than answers. In the 1800s, an attempt to drill into it was stopped to prevent damage. By the 1970s, the drill was removed, but nothing important was found inside. However, some people say there was once a hole on top of the Sphinx, now sealed with concrete, which might have been an entrance to internal chambers. Aerial photos from 1920 reportedly show this hole, but today only the filled-in gap is visible, leading to more speculation about its original purpose and why it's kept secret. But the mystery doesn't stop there. Some of the most intriguing stories involve a hidden chamber beneath one of the Sphinx's paws, called the Hall of Records, by the mystic Edgar Cayce over a century ago. He believed this chamber held keys to understanding both the pyramids and the Sphinx. In 1989, Japanese researchers dug around the Sphinx's paws but reported finding nothing significant. Still, rumors persist of a government-approved research team finding a shaft leading to a barrier of light, a door that wouldn't open, no matter what they tried. This makes some believe that the Sphinx's secrets are meant to stay hidden. Over the years, unofficial reports have added to the fascination, suggesting there might be an underground city beneath the Sphinx, complete with a 12-story structure filled with historical records and treasures. If true, such a discovery could reveal a hidden culture right below one of Egypt's most famous monuments. Whether these stories are true or just speculation, they show that the Sphinx is more than just stone. It's a gateway to a past still mostly undiscovered, potentially holding insights that could change our understanding of ancient Egyptian civilization. Edgar believes that the Sphinx might have once sheltered over 5 million people from an ancient culture that existed long before our time. Some researchers even think that beneath the Sphinx today, there are highly intelligent, glowing beings waiting for the right moment to come back. Experts were amazed when modern scans revealed a hidden chamber inside the massive Khufu's pyramid. This secret room, at least 30 meters long, is located above the Grand Gallery and makes us question what it was used for. Though it's probably not filled with mummies or treasures, some think it could have been a ramp used during the pyramid's construction. The origin of this mysterious chamber is still unknown, and without being able to go inside, its secrets remain safe behind the pyramid's strong walls. But that's not the most surprising part. If we go back about 3,400 years, we find Pharaoh Akhenaten, who made a huge change by moving his capital from Thebes to Amarna. With Queen Nefertiti by his side, he started a new city and a unique sun worship religion. Why did Akhenaten make such drastic changes? The ruins of the so-called Golden City, found in almost perfect condition in 2020, might have answers. This discovery is considered the most important since Tutankhamun's tomb. The city shows a time of great wealth in ancient Egypt's history, with artifacts, jewelry, and everyday items giving us a glimpse into the past. But this wasn't the most intriguing find. The Khufu ship, discovered in 1954, offers a look into the elaborate death rituals of the ancient Egyptians. Believed to help in the journey to the afterlife, this solar bark was found carefully taken apart, with its pieces organized for possible reassembly. This suggests it might have been used in rituals or even to transport Khufu's body, showing the Egyptians' complex beliefs about death and rebirth. An unexpected twist: a farmer in northeast Egypt recently found a sandstone slab from the time of Pharaoh Apries while working in his field. This artifact, covered in ancient hieroglyphs, adds another piece to the puzzle of Egyptian history. But that's not the most remarkable discovery. The Rosetta Stone, found in 1799 by a French officer, or maybe his horse, significantly advanced our understanding of Egyptian hieroglyphs. This stone, with inscriptions in 3 scripts, hieroglyphic, Demotic, and Greek, helped bridge communication across different classes and rulers of the time. Next, we uncover the treasures in the tombs of Egypt's pharaohs. The tomb of the Silver Pharaoh. The tomb of Pharaoh Susinus I, discovered by Pierre Montet in 1940, continues to capture our attention. Buried with his family and entourage, Susinus was laid to rest in multiple sarcophagi, including one made of pure silver, earning him the title of the Silver Pharaoh. Even though his mummy has decayed, the richness of his tomb tells us a lot about the era's splendor. The history of Egyptian architecture, the skills displayed are unmatched and still mostly a mystery to modern experts. The ability to create such precise and lasting structures suggests a level of technology that seems impossible for that time. Take the tomb of Hatshepsut, an ancient Egyptian pharaoh. It was a puzzle until 2007 when Farouk Hos, the Egyptian Minister of Education, announced a major discovery. He said a team had identified Hatshepsut's mummy using advanced DNA analysis and CT scans. This mummy, found years earlier in the Valley of the Kings, was of a woman who probably died in her mid-30s from cancer or diabetes. But the story didn't end there. The identification was questioned when a tooth, thought to belong to Hatshepsut, didn't fit the mummy's jaw, sparking debates about her death possibly being politically motivated. But that wasn't the most surprising part. In the world of electromagnetic phenomena, recent studies have suggested that the Great Pyramid of Giza might focus electromagnetic energy within its structure. This is quite surprising given our daily exposure to electromagnetic fields from devices like mobile phones and microwaves. Even though this is just a theoretical idea, it hints that ancient buildings might have had uses we don't yet understand. Another amazing discovery involved ancient Egyptian jewelry made from extraterrestrial material. The iron in these pieces came from meteorites, making it more valuable than gold at the time. This special iron was seen as a divine gift, showing how much the Egyptians valued these rare elements. Speaking of unique values, the importance of cats in ancient Egyptian culture is another example. In the city of Bubastis, dedicated to the cat goddess Bastet, many artifacts and large cat cemeteries have been found. This shows how important cats were in daily life and religious practices. Now let's look at the construction of the Great Pyramid. This topic continues to spark intense debates among historians and archaeologists. Many theories have been suggested about how it was built, including different types of ramps and labor organization, but none have been definitively proven. The pyramid's precise alignment with the cardinal points and the nearly perfect equality of its sides indicate an extraordinary level of architectural skill that challenges our understanding of ancient engineering. At the heart of Egypt's ancient mysteries, the Pyramid of Khufu, also known as the Great Pyramid, stands as a testament to architectural brilliance. Built between 2620 and 2580 BC during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, it remains the only ancient wonder still largely intact. Originally standing at 146.59 meters tall with a base of 230.33 meters, it was the tallest man-made structure for nearly 4,000 years. Many believe it was built as a tomb, but surprisingly, no mummies have ever been found inside, making us question its true purpose. Scientists used muon scans and found hints of hidden chambers within this massive structure. This discovery led to more detailed investigations. Recent endoscopic explorations confirmed a new, previously unknown room. This chamber, located above the pyramid's ancient entrance, is about 2.1 meters wide, 2.3 meters high, and 9 meters long. An endoscopic camera, which can fit through narrow gaps between stones, revealed this space that hadn't been touched for over 4,500 years. But this wasn't the most surprising part. This new empty chamber raises big questions about the pyramid's design and purpose. Unlike other pyramids with straight corridors, the Great Pyramid has a corridor that oddly points south instead of north, where it should guide the pharaoh's soul to the northern sky. This strange design suggests there could be different reasons behind the pyramid's layout. Moreover, the pyramid texts, old writings about Egyptian beliefs in the afterlife, were created centuries after the pyramid's construction. These texts have influenced our understanding, but they might only give us a partial picture of the true intentions of the pyramid's builders. The discovery of this new chamber also highlights that we have only explored a small part of the pyramid, hinting that many more secrets could still be hidden inside. The real question now is not just about the use of this newly found chamber, but also what lies beyond it. Early studies suggest its unique construction could be strategic, meant to support the massive structure above and maybe protect other hidden elements further inside. As we uncover more about the past, each new find adds to our understanding of these ancient wonders. But the story doesn't end here. The limestone that once covered the pyramid, making it shine like a diamond in the desert sun, has mostly been removed over thousands of years. Despite losing its polished look, the Pyramid of Khufu still fascinates scholars, historians, and explorers. It stands as a powerful symbol of Egypt's lasting legacy, inviting us to ponder its origins and the secrets it still holds within its immense, time-worn stones. Who knows what future discoveries will reveal about this ancient wonder? Let's look at the incredible architecture that still puzzles us today. Lost treasures of the King's Chamber. On the north side of this ancient structure, you can still see the remains of the gate that once marked the original entrance. Inside, a maze of rooms unfolds, showcasing incredible craftsmanship from long ago. Among these rooms are the Rock Chamber, Queen's Chamber, and the Grand King's Chamber, which holds an empty sarcophagus, a testament to ancient engineering. It's believed that the great ruler, Khops, was buried here, but there is no solid evidence to prove this. The sarcophagus remains empty, with no mummy or royal treasures found. Many think tomb robbers looted the pyramid centuries ago, but this theory is still unconfirmed. The design of these chambers, so intricate and precise, has sparked much debate among scholars. Their purpose, thought to be tied to the religious beliefs of the time, suggests a journey of the soul from Earth to the sun god Ra abode. But this connection remains uncertain due to the lack of concrete evidence. But this isn't the only mystery. The Great Pyramid of Giza, often seen as a grand tribute to King Khops, presents another puzzle. The king's chamber, meant to be his final resting place, is stark and undecorated. This simplicity makes us wonder, did it really serve as the final resting place for such a powerful ruler? Despite these weak links, most scholars today believe the pyramid was built for Khops. However, a few still argue that the evidence is too weak to be sure. The questions about the pyramid's true purpose and how it was built without modern technology continue to spark heated debate. How did the ancient Egyptians move thousands of heavy stone blocks to create such a magnificent structure? Theories, including the use of advanced ramp systems, abound. But the exact methods remain a mystery. There's not much physical evidence about how the Khufu pyramid was built. While bits of ramps have been found around other pyramids, they show that the Egyptians didn't use the same ramp system for every pyramid. Each pyramid and its building stages had different methods and styles. People still argue about whether the Egyptians used straight, spiral, or zigzag ramps, or maybe a mix of these to build the Pyramid of Khops. But this isn't the most intriguing part. A controversial theory has popped up, especially among those who believe in ancient astronaut ideas. This theory suggests that the real builders of the pyramids might not have been the ancient Egyptians, but aliens from another planet. These advanced visitors, with their superior technology, supposedly visited Earth often and were worshipped as gods by the ancient Egyptians. But this theory doesn't stop there. The pyramids of Giza are often pointed to as key evidence. Some supporters, like Swiss author Erich von Däniken, argue that the ancient Egyptians, who they consider less advanced, couldn't have built such complex structures on their own. They believe that these alien visitors gave the Egyptians the knowledge and help they needed. Furthermore, the unique design of the pyramids is thought to showcase the aliens' advanced technology, with each pyramid serving a special yet unknown purpose related to their distant home planet. This idea continues to spark debates and fascination because it challenges the traditional view of human history and accomplishments. Imagine beings from far-off galaxies put into a deep sleep during their space travels, arriving on Earth. To the ancient Egyptians, it would have seemed like gods had woken up from the dead. These visitors might have inspired the Egyptians' beliefs in resurrection and eternal life, leading them to practice mummification. Pharaohs, hoping to rise again after death, allowed themselves to be mummified and housed in strong structures, the pyramids, aiming to awaken as gods themselves. But this isn't the whole story. This interesting idea often hides the true intelligence and culture of our ancestors. Many people focus only on the pyramids and ignore the wider context of pyramid development throughout ancient Egypt. Historians and researchers sometimes let their own ideas color their interpretations instead of sticking strictly to scientific evidence. Because of this, the real purpose behind these huge structures is still covered in layers of guesswork dating back to the 1800s. Some people think the pyramids might have been designed to harness solar energy. Supporting this idea is the Dendera light, a hieroglyphic that looks like ancient Egyptians holding a giant light bulb. It's amazing to think they might have had a form of electricity. This hieroglyphic raises interesting questions about Egyptian technology. But that's not the strangest part. Adding to this idea is the discovery of the Baghdad battery, an artifact found in Baghdad that dates back nearly 2,000 years. This device, made of a terracotta pot, a rolled copper sheet, an iron rod, and an electrolytic solution, suggests a basic form of battery. Given how close Baghdad is to Egypt, it's possible that such technology was common and that the Egyptians might have used similar devices to boost their interaction with solar power through the pyramids. Finally, we'll uncover the strange and fascinating mummies recently found in Egypt. The hidden depths of Egypt's ancient innovations. If these ideas are true, the ancient Egyptians were much more advanced than we think. The thought that they could have been early users of solar power or other forms of energy changes our understanding of their civilization. While these ideas are still just guesses, they challenge us to rethink what the ancient Egyptians were capable of, turning our view of them from simple stone builders to possibly advanced technologists who might have influenced future generations with their innovations. The ancient burial site of Deir el-Bahari, archaeologists found something unusual. It was a mummy with its mouth wide open, looking like it was screaming. This was different from the usual mummies that were found with their mouths closed and in a peaceful position. This mummy's head was tilted to the right, and its legs were bent, suggesting a story of sudden and terrifying death. Why was this mummy buried in such a strange way? The answer might be connected to another person found at the same site, Pentar, the son of Ramses III. Unlike his royal family, who usually had a dignified burial, Pentar met a tragic end. But this wasn't the worst part. Experts like Zahi Hawass and Sahar Salim used a CT scan to examine the screaming mummy. They found that the woman, who was in her 60s, had received the traditional mummification process. Her organs were removed, and her body was treated with expensive resins and perfumes before being wrapped in linen. Despite the careful mummification, her death seemed sudden and dramatic, possibly from a heart attack, as her arteries showed severe atherosclerosis. This sudden death might explain her final, frozen expression. If she died alone, her body could have been left undiscovered for a while, causing her joints and muscles to stiffen in that haunting position, making it impossible to rearrange her into the usual peaceful pose for burial. In November 2019, another remarkable discovery was made by the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities at Saqqara. They found a large collection of mummified animals and artifacts. This site had not just cats, but also lion cubs, a first in Egyptian archaeology. There were 75 cat statues and 25 decorated wooden boxes containing mummified animals, showing how big the animal mummification industry had become in ancient Egypt. This practice started as a way to offer sacrifices, but had grown into mass production for rituals. However, a more gruesome find came from an ancient palace in Avaris. Archaeologists discovered 4 pits with 16 severed hands, dating back around 3,600 years to the reign of a Hyksos king, Sheshi. All the hands were right hands, likely a ritual or punishment to show victory over enemies or to remind people of the king's power. This find was a stark contrast to the serene and sacred practices of mummification, highlighting the varied and complex cultural practices of ancient Egypt, from the reverent to the ruthless. The old days, there was a harsh custom of cutting off the right hand of defeated enemies. This practice, shared by the Hyksos and Egyptians, served two purposes. It was a way to count the number of enemies eliminated, and it symbolized taking away their strength and power. For the first time, we now have physical evidence of this practice, thanks to recent archaeological finds. One example comes from the tomb of Ahmose, where an Egyptian officer earned the gold of valor by cutting off an enemy's hand. A new discovery added excitement to the world of ancient Egyptian mummies. In the necropolis of Saqqara, the body of Hyksos was found, preserved with great care. Each limb was wrapped separately to look lifelike, and his face was painted with eyes, a mouth, and dark hair. His skin was covered with gold leaves, symbolizing divinity. Gold was believed to reflect godly attributes, ensuring that Hyksos would dine with the gods forever. But this wasn't the most intriguing find. Nearby, archaeologists found limestone statues in a tomb. These statues were luxury items, meant to be reserved bodies for the Ka, the vital essence after death. This discovery highlights the elaborate preparations Egyptians made for the afterlife. The modern understanding of Egyptian hieroglyphics almost seems like a miracle. These symbols had been forgotten for centuries until 1799, when a French officer's horse stumbled over a stone. This stone turned out to be the Rosetta Stone, with inscriptions in 3 different scripts. This discovery was crucial, allowing scholars to match hieroglyphs with known scripts like ancient Greek, opening up a treasure trove of ancient knowledge. But that wasn't the last amazing find. Recently, a 16-meter papyrus scroll was discovered in a Saqqara sarcophagus. This scroll, dating back to 50 BC, is the first of its kind found in over a century. It features excerpts from the Egyptian Book of the Dead and is now housed in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. The scroll is filled with hymns, spells, and vivid illustrations, detailing the soul's journey through the afterlife. These texts and artifacts together paint a detailed picture of how an ancient civilization faced life, death, and eternity. Could these ancient texts be the true key to unlocking lost knowledge about life, death, and beyond? Like, comment, and subscribe for more.